Hey guys, it's Abby. I'm back with another video, and today I will be doing my June wrap-up. I know I'm just like a little bit late, but it's been wild, and I know I've said that in literally my last like 5 videos, but it's finally calmed down. I'm fine. As you can see, I am back home. Not my favorite filming atmosphere, but it's what I got. Because June was so crazy, I had a lot of work, and I moved from somewhere in Kansas City to another place in Kansas City, and then I had to fly home, and my sister visited me while I was up there, so like a lot happened. So I did not read too much, and I don't have any of the books with me, so I'm going off of memory, and I'll just have the pictures of the covers here. Yeah, so we're just gonna jump right into it. I apologize for the little amount of books that I read, but you know, it is what it is. So, the first book that I read in June was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Now this is me coming out to say that I have not read the Harry Potter series. Please don't kill me. I know, I don't know why I didn't read it growing up. It just wasn't something that I wanted to read. I don't know why. I think I tried a couple times when I was like 10 and it just wasn't my thing. And so I'm finally picking them up and starting to read them again. I'm currently reading the second one, so I think I'm doing like one a month type thing because I don't want to burn out. But if I end up like reading them all in order, like that's fine too. But so that was the first book that I read this month, and oh my gosh, it was amazing. Even better than I thought it was going to be. Better than the movies, obviously. And I don't know, there was something so fun and warm about it. Even though I didn't grow up necessarily with the books, I do have this weird sense of comfort when it comes to Harry Potter because I was very obsessed with the movies and all that kind of stuff. So I did feel this sort of comfort from it, and I'm really excited to read the rest of the series and watch the progression of her writing all the way up until the last book. That's going to be really exciting. So the next book that I read is Whiskey, Words, and a Shovel 2 by R.H. Sin, and that is a poetry book. It's one that I very randomly picked up at Barnes & Noble's while I was back in Kansas City, and I had zero recollection or knowledge about the author or the poetry or anything. I just thought it sounded interesting, and I flipped through and read like one poem and was like, yeah, I'll try this one out. And it was pretty good, not my favorite. There were like several poems I really loved, and then a lot that I really didn't. So I thought it was pretty good. I think I gave it like 3 stars, and I'm kind of picky about my poetry, so it wasn't like the best that I've ever read, but I did really enjoy it. The next book I read was You Know Me Well by David Levithan and Nina LaCour. This was on my TBR list, and I loved it. Oh my gosh, this book was amazing. I'm going to do a more extensive review on it. I'm really excited about it. It was so good, and good for so many more reasons than necessarily just the writing, but the writing itself was really great because David Levithan and Nina LaCour are just fabulous writers to begin with, and I can see where there might be a couple issues with the book, but I think the way that they did it was for a reason, and it was a message, and it was pretty much a statement, and I think it's a really relevant topic right now. If you don't know what this book is about, it follows 2 teenagers, a boy and a girl, and they are both gay. So one is gay and one is a lesbian, and it follows them during San Francisco Pride Week and how their lives intertwine and how they become these friends that help each other through their struggles that they are trying to deal with at this very reflective time for them. And I absolutely loved it. I thought it is really great to have a book that focused so much on the culture aspects and the subculture of the LGBT community, because a lot of books don't focus on that, and I also liked how it had more to do with friendship and growing up and moving on than being out and coming out to your family and friends and stuff, because these 2 kids were out. It did have a little bit of that with the side character, but the 2 main characters were not struggling necessarily with their sexuality. They were struggling with real life teenage problems like meeting a girl you like and dealing with going off to college and falling in love with your best friend and all of that kind of stuff, as opposed to these deep issues of self and internal struggle. I thought it was really interesting because you can relate to it regardless of your sexuality, because I thought the characters were very dynamic and sweet. And it was a very good, it's something that I wish I could have read going into college, because I think that was a really universal theme that was going on there that a lot of people could relate to, was one of the main characters' issues with going off to college and overcoming these fears that she has and realizing that it's okay to not quite be ready for all of that yet, you know? So I would love to do just a more in-depth thing of it. I have to do a bunch of notes and kind of reflect on what I really loved about reading it, and then I will do a review on it, and I cannot wait. I really loved it. The next book that I read this month, I'm counting it as reading this month even though I finished it a couple days ago, but I read literally almost all of it in June, so I'm counting it, and that was If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Rousseau. I really love this book. Another really great diverse read in YA, and we're doing really good, guys, like with all the diversity. I loved this book. I thought it was very, very informative and sweet, but still such a heavy topic and a really heavy issue just to read in general because you don't know about typically transgender lives. We don't talk about that stuff very much. It's very hush-hush. So this kind of gives you all of the details of this girl's life with transitioning and then going off to a new school and trying to hide this part of her, and who does she hide it to and who does she tell it to, and then falling in love with a boy and like how that affects her past and her internal struggles, and I loved that part of it. Some parts of it I was not too fond of. I didn't think that the relationship was there wasn't enough connection there. I didn't feel the love when they talked about being in love, and I didn't get that translation. And although I admired the main character so much and the struggles in the story, for some reason there was a disconnect in personality. Like if you asked me to describe her, I don't know if I could really describe her very well. I thought that was kind of pushed aside a little bit, and the love story was very rushed and not really put together. I didn't really get it. But I still rated this book very highly because it's so important to be read and to be put out there, because so many people should read more books like this because it's informative and it teaches you about diversity, and it makes you realize that like this is a normal thing, and you grow to love this character who is no different than you on the inside. And it's a really beautiful book, and it's written by a transgender author with a transgender model on the cover, which makes it very wholesome, if you know what I mean. So those are the books that I read in the month of June. It wasn't a lot, but I don't know. I was in a little bit of a reading slump, but I pushed myself through as it went on because I was like, I know that I just need to do it. I didn't really read anything that was on my TBR, but I don't really care. I'm just trying to get back into the reading game. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.